Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to wasmCloud Wednesday for Wednesday, March 26th. This is the last community meeting of the quarter. The reason why that is significant is because we do quarterly roadmap planning for wasmCloud. So today I want to take a look at the roadmap. We have a couple of agenda items, but by and large, I foresee this meeting being pretty quick. We should have plenty of time at the end to talk through additional agenda items if necessary. But I think in general, as we look towards the next week, which is going to be tomorrow is going to be Wasm IO, and then next week is going to be KubeCon Cloud Native Con EU in London. All of us are preparing talks, last touches on demos, pretty heads down. So no demos or super big discussion items today. But just to share the community meeting agenda, I did want to leave it a little bit of time to take a look at the wasi-config update discussion item from last week, which we just rolled over. Look ahead to Wasm IO and KubeCon Europe, and then check in on the roadmap, which I think we will do this in the opposite order as is proposed. And because these are unordered lists, right? We can do them in whatever order we want. So taking a look at the roadmap, we've done this kind of check-in a couple of times so far in the quarter, and I think we've progressed fairly well through the roadmap. We knew during this planning phase, I mean, this was like the first thing that we said right when we got off of that call is like, wow, we planned a lot of stuff on this roadmap. We're going to see how it goes. Because we are operating at such the bleeding edge of WebAssembly, and there are many, many things that we, end up needing to adapt to and work with and help implement. And it is kind of hard to flesh out a full roadmap of all the stuff that we know we're going to do in a specific quarter. So that spiel really is just a little bit of prelude. But if we take down to the bottom, we have taken on quite a good couple of we've completed a good couple of tasks on this roadmap, like open sourcing and using the benchmarking Helm chart so that you can profile and benchmark in a reliable way your wasmCloud applications. Combining wash CLI and wash lib removed a point of friction in releases that was essentially tripping us up and making it harder to release, which is now done thanks to the great help of Ahmed on our maintainers. Taylor and Roman have come in with a ton of improvements to releasing secrets nats KV and organizing our crates and CI to only build providers and Wasm Cloud when we need to. We also have a lot of improvements that came in for our documentation, especially around using some special GitHub features. I say special, it's just a GitHub feature to use conventional commits to generate release notes so that when we cut a release of Wasm Cloud or Wash, they are nice. Look, they're nice, separated by markdown headings that we've determined, and then any breaking changes and things like that are surfaced all the way up to the top to take a look at some of the things that we have in progress. So these are action items or work items that we've started on, may or may not have a PR out there. But are things that are essentially in progress. This one emitting the error count when the logging buffer is full. This is one around when we do our tracing emitting, if we exceed the internal, like the Rust buffer for events, then essentially we will lose that trace event, which is by design. We don't want to block a component on tracing. But this one actually has a PR open. Thank you, Rabel Mervin, for opening that. So we just need to push that one through the review queue and get it wrapped up. Same thing with Aditya's cron job provider. Aditya has opened a PR with a cron job provider. We actually have had a couple of other folks in the community also design cron job providers. Like I know that I've seen a couple I don't know if I can mention their name, but I've seen a few of these, so it would be good to collaborate on the right design. But Aditya is a maintainer of Wasm Cloud and has reached out that this is essentially a very busy time for him personally. And, open source is a lot of the time, not everybody is as lucky to be able to spend their work time on it. So this one is in an open PR, pending some discussion, but really is moving along well, so I'm not worried about it at all. Bundling wasmCloud and Wash has stalled a little bit. This was my task. I really want to do it. It just hasn't really come up to the top of the priority list. So I expect to probably hack on this maybe next week during conference time when I'm procrastinating something else. But this one has been proved as possible. It just needs a little bit of prioritization to get it done. WASI P3 tracking, WASI P3 tracking is probably the biggest issue that's on this, or biggest card, whatever, that's on this roadmap. And there's a significant couple of maintainers who would normally be working on, who could normally take tasks off of this roadmap that are actually pushing across and helping contribute to WASI P3. I want to especially call out Roman, who has been implementing a lot of WASI P3 in Wasmtime. So the actual async versions of interfaces, the new, async versions of interfaces and the P3 variations, like with WASI HTTP, actually implementing them in Wasmtime. It's been done by, it's getting done by Roman and others in the community. I'm not actually sure who exactly is contributing the features, but I'm sure that Alex Crichton and Joel Dice from Fermion are putting in a good bit of contributions too. So I don't intend to, I'm not intending to say that we're like doing the whole thing. I just want to call out the wasmCloud maintainers who are doing awesome work in the standard space. And then I also want to call out Victor Adossi, who's on our team, who has been implementing a ton on the JCO side of things. I believe he's working all the way across the JavaScript ecosystem and in P3 in general. There's been a ton of work there. Victor, I think you're on the call actually. I'm not sure if you wanted to say anything more there, but um, yeah, I just wanted to call out and give a huge thanks to the folks who are working on the upstream WebAssembly standards too. I think it's very important for us to be contributing as much as we can to the standard. So I think that that is likely a big reason that some of these items are going to slip over to the next roadmap, or maybe just weren't as important because getting P3 out is a very important task. Clap autocomplete is also another one that's in a PR that I think we just need to drive across the line. I know that Masood is working on the built-in HTTP client capability provider and said he would be putting out a draft PR for this pretty soon, which is great. And then Masood, actually, I don't know if they are on, if he's on here. Um, did post a good bit of information around this RFC for SBOMs and build prominence. I believe the conclusion there essentially was, hey, this would probably further complicate CI and wouldn't give us any tangible, wouldn't give us much tangible benefit now, so it's probably not worth doing. I think we still need to talk about it, but I really, really appreciate the investigation into it, Masood, and we should probably just bring it up again on another community meeting to talk all the way through it. Victor left a comment. Huge props to Joel, Alex, Luke Wagner. I think you're talking about Luke Wagner, and Roman and others. I mean, everybody contributing in the standard side. Okay, so those are the things that are in progress and completed. The majority of the roadmap we have at least started on, which is great. The remaining improvements here that are ready for work, these are actually likely really quick tasks. So I don't th I think if we got together and did a hackathon, essentially this would be a very quick couple of things to knock out. So in the name of getting things completed on the roadmap that we talked about, I think we can, some of us maintainers should be able to just get through and tackle these, but these are still up for grabs for anybody looking to contribute. And other than that, I think that These couple of things that have been left in triage intentionally are not quite ready for taking by anyone. Usually it requires some more maintainer or just offline discussion to really figure out the way that we want to solve these problems. So there's really nothing that we can there's really no excuse here. I think that this is a good excuse me. I think this is a good um lesson to learn for our next roadmap planning, that the items that we bring onto the roadmap should be well scoped and ready to take at the time of the roadmap planning wherever possible. And I think I think that's totally fine. Like I mentioned in past road mapping sessions, I'm not a Jira Scrum master trying to whip everybody into shape across the community. I really just want to show the broader trend, the bigger issues, some of the things that we really want to get done in a quarter, in a place that everybody can see them and that we can contribute to. So, I don't think that I have anything else to say on the roadmap other than if you're taking a look at wasmCloud, you're really interested in contributing to this super cool project. Take a look at this improvement ready for work pane. I think this is a great place to get started in terms of excuse me, I think this is a great place to get started for contributing. Okay. The only thing, that I wanted to bring up, which I usually try to put a couple of stats into oh, yeah, Victor, go ahead.
Hey, Brooks. I just wanted to a note for everybody who's like watching and part of the community that a great way to contribute is also filing issues. So we've had some really nice like just usability issues and things people ran into come in, and that's been really helpful to just go through and make sure we have a really good docs, and then just like hit bugs and make sure things are easier to use. So that's also like don't have to wait to find a specific issue to work on. If you just like start going through and you're building something, those are honestly some of our favorite issues to get, because then we can find edges that are still a little sharp.
Yeah, awesome call out, Victor. Thank you. Oh yeah. Okay. So the only other thing that I wanted to share about the roadmap, I usually try to, which, by the way, this is totally open for anybody to take a look at the Wasm Cloud dev stats instance, which is provided for us by the CNCF. It just kind of lets us take a look at all kinds of things on all kinds of things for statistics for like a certain time period for the Wasm Cloud org. You can see over the last quarter, excuse me, over the last quarter of Wasm Cloud, we have actually merged 335 PRs, average of a little under 4 a day. So, I think that this speaks really, really well to the idea that, we may not take everything off of an existing of the roadmap and get it done, but we are certainly busting our butts. We're getting tons of contributions from people in the community, which is really awesome to see. I always forget which one is the best to look at here. This was from 3 years ago, but I mean, you can see the number of contributors and contributions that we have just steadily upticking over time, which is really, really awesome. I think this is the window of the new year, so holding really, really steady in the contributions and contributors front, which is really, really awesome. I'll try to publish a couple more of these. It's fun to look through some of these graphs as well. But okay, well, yeah, a couple little things. So we have certainly been putting in the work, and I would love to. I would love to I'm looking forward to our next road mapping session. The only thing is that KubeCon, Cloud Native Con is next week. So during Wasm Cloud Wednesday, myself and many others are likely to be at the conference itself, at the booth. So next week's community call will probably be pretty short from the conference floor. one of us yelling over the noise of the crowd to tell you how it's going. So it probably won't be the best time to do our road mapping planning next week. So I'd like to push that at least to the week after KubeCon. We don't typically worry about it too much if we miss a week or so. So yeah, just general note. As far as the other things, I did. Cosmonic has a super helpful blog on their site for Cosmonic at Wasm IO and KubeCon, and this just happens to include many of the Wasm Cloud maintainer talks and things that we're going to be involved at. It highlights some of the Wasm Cloud things as well. So for our next agenda item, we wanted to talk, look ahead at Wasm IO and KubeCon. So here is what's going on. So in Barcelona, which will be tomorrow and the day after, I know that our very own Bailey Hayes is already over there, and then I think Liam is on the way, going to be flying there soon, or is over there. I actually can't remember. Liam's moving around a lot these days, but they are going to be doing a talk at Wasm IO, and then I believe, and I don't know if I have anybody here from Couchbase, but I believe Couchbase is doing a workshop at Wasm IO, which includes WasmCloud. So those both will be awesome sessions to catch. I personally won't be there, sad face, but if you're looking to connect with anybody on the Wasm Cloud side and you're in Barcelona, you should hit up Bailey and Liam. And then at KubeCon, we have quite a few things that are happening there. Taylor on the Wasm Cloud side is going to be doing lightning talk with tag runtime. So, some of our involvement in the CNCF Wasm ecosystem. Jonas is going to be Jonas, who contributed the workload identity feature to Wasm Cloud, is going to be talking about Linkerd and WebAssembly and containers. Then Taylor again and David Justice from Microsoft are going to be talking one of my favorite talk titles so far this year, Wasm I Right or Wasm I Wrong? A review of the Wasm ecosystem. Super fun. I have a quick talk. Well, I guess it's a normal talk. I have a talk, Wasm Whiplash, Wasm Cloud's Wild Ride to Standards, which I hope will be fun. It's a 5-year retrospective on Wasm Cloud as a project, how we got to WASI P2, all kinds of fun stuff. Hopefully, that will be as enjoyable by everybody attending as it is therapeutic for me to talk about everything on my mind about the project. All good things, all good things. Then one that I'm sure many folks are looking forward to, Spiffy in practice for WebAssembly workloads, which is going to be Jonas and then our Wasm Cloud maintainer, Colin Murphy, talking about workload identity. And then finally, Liam actually has a talk at platform engineering in the platform engineering track. In the main conference, we are going to see and talk about, can you maintain 1,000 apps, Wasm Cloud and Kubernetes? So should be a lot of production learnings in that talk. The things that we've seen Wasm Cloud do after quite a couple of years of running it. So should be really fun. I've linked this blog in the Zoom chat, but it's just on the Cosmonic blog. We've got quite a couple talks coming up. So I hope to see you all there. Anybody who's going to be in London, please let us know. We can go grab a coffee, grab a pint, whatever. And yeah, I think that's it. Our only other agenda item that was on the list for today was an update, a PR, or I think it was an issue that was filed on the wasi-config side. But I do see that Taylor isn't here, couldn't make it, had a conflict. And I think I'd like to get his, I'm happy to read out the issue, but I'd like to have his perspective. So we will bump that one more week. All right, folks. Well, as I mentioned, we essentially are, a lot of the folks on the Wasm Cloud side are pretty heads down, shipping features, demos, and talk slides for next week. So that's actually all that I had for the community meeting. But we do still have time if folks have other things that they wanted to bring up from Wasm Cloud, WebAssembly broader WASM ecosystem. So I'll shut up for a second and feel free to raise your hand if you do. Yeah, Masood, go for it.
Hi, Brooks. Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, today I'm on my mobile. So first I was on YouTube and didn't have a decent experience. Quickly on that issue, do you want to leave it till we kind of talk about that in details, or you want to discuss it now? Because either way I'm okay. I know what I have done. I have spent a lot of time on that ticket. And really, it's weighing the options, which way we want to go and what are the pros and cons of each.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about it today. I want to make sure that um I want to make sure that, some of the other folks who you've been talking to, like Jonas, and everything can weigh in. But
Yeah,
I
and that's why I'm saying that if you want to wait till basically KubeCon and Wasm IO and those are over, and then when we're talking about roadmap, potentially we can talk about what's left and what we're going to do with it.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good. I am good with that. I'm good with leaving it there, as long, just to double check, by leaving it there, we're not, there's no more work that you're doing on that right now, right? We're just kind of waiting to talk about it, right?
Right, and making that decision that if we want to go ahead and implement it, or say that it's not worth it and we want to wait till we have, let's say, CI version 2.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that sounds great. I think it's really worth the discussion. I don't want us to feel like we have to go through with features if we investigate them and then
No, and the fact is that I have run the jobs. There are logs, there are outputs, there are reports, actually there are attestations. Everything is there for the demo purpose. So when basically you're doing the review and making or deciding or debating what to do, you have material to look into and say that okay, we get this and we don't get that, and we like this and we don't like that.
yeah, yeah, totally makes sense. I think it makes a lot of sense to bring this up after KubeCon, when we're thinking about what we want to do for the next quarter.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Masood. All right. Well, I think that may be it for today. So, a little quick community meeting. As a reminder, and I did say this a little earlier, but just for everybody um, watching, I think that next week will be a quick community meeting from the conference floor. So, we'll be yelling at you, and should be a good time. If you're in London, come be on the community call in person. Could be kind of fun. And other than that, look forward to seeing a bunch of you next week and then picking up the community call then. And then um, I guess see you back here in 2 weeks too for our regular community call where we'll talk roadmap. Alrighty. Well, thanks everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Safe travels to everybody going to the conference and see you next time. Have a WASM Cloud day.